Welcome to the Old-Fashioned Three. They've been around basketball from the Big Dipper to the Greek Freak, from Russell Celtics to Curry's Warriors, from Peach Baskets to Paolo Banchero. Here are Whitey Gleason, Phantom, and Jerry Reynolds.
Yes, that was that cat, all right.
Oh, yeah. Once again, the Old-Fashioned Three, as I like to call it, the Jerry Reynolds Show. Before we get started, I think everybody has a gripe here. I think, I've learned sometimes something's bothering somebody. It's better start the show, get it off your chest, and then we move on. I know Phantom's upset about something he saw in the Wiffle Ball World Series.
Wiffle Ball World Series I was watching on ESPN. And, it looked pretty cool, but I'm like, we used to play wiffle ball all the time. We'd have killed these guys. I mean, come on. I mean, this guy throws filth over here.
Well,
I mean, Mike Scott is going, this guy really works the ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I obviously was all around. But these guys, and it was kind of cool the way they had it set up and everything. But I'm like, that guy's the pitcher? All he did is throw this one. I'm like, this one. You can watch that one every time.
That one
You're throwing that one, I'll just let it go, get it in here.
Yeah.
And if you throw it at me, I'm not going to bail out. I'm going to swing because it's going over the plate. So
or you're going to switch and hit the other way.
I could hit left-handed if I wanted to. Yeah, it doesn't matter, Jared. In the at bat, I'm like, why do we kill these guys?
I don't
think we just beat them. I mean, 10 run.
Well, this should not be allowed to stand. I mean, you guys.
We need to go back
do anything about it now.
It was probably recorded 3 years ago or something. So.
Yeah. I didn't know that, Phantom.
I think we need to go back there and challenge these gentlemen.
You know what got Jerry riled up today? And the
car show was really good that it wasn't.
It was good, but it was
a few things built up, And
I don't want to mention any names here, but I happened to hear something today on the radio. And I mentioned it to Jerry, and he almost got out of the car to find the person that said it so he could slap him. And I don't know all of the details, so I don't want to overreact to it. But someone was talking about Rudy Gay and made a comparison between Rudy Gay and George Gervin. And when I mentioned that to Jerry,
did they say Rudy Gay is no George Gervin?
It wasn't that. It was more like Rudy. He was really good, and before I've mentioned George Gervin. And
now that's
I almost turned off the radio, but I didn't. But I mentioned it to Jerry, and he hasn't been the same since I shared.
Do we need to go on a road trip right now?
I mean, it's just, my God. What are you, do you pay attention at all? I mean, Rudy was a fine player.
Sure. Yeah.
Near all-star level.
Right.
And George Gervin happened to be great.
That's kind of why we're here, though, to school people over people who think that Rudy Gay and George Gervin should be compared. That's kind of why we're here.
Yeah, George could get 70.
Now, probably.
Well, he could roll out of bed and get 10.
Yeah.
Double figure you right now.
65 years old.
65 years old, yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't know all the context, though, to be fair.
You
but
never
Jer,
know. You never
Jer
know.
reacted
Yeah.
viscerally to that. And didn't you used to go to his camps?
Well,
Did
he
you
used
help
to
out on his camps? Or
well, no, it was actually Dr. J had a camp at my college, and I was part of it, and George Gervin was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to know George a little bit. Terrific guy, and that was really in his prime. Of course, he and Doc were.
And you know Rudy Gay, so you know the two.
Yeah.
I know Rudy, and he's a terrific guy and a fine player.
You're in a good position to judge the two, judge the merits of the two.
And I'm judging them.
Yes, you are. Yes.
If I,
And no disrespect to Rudy, did not beat George Gervin. You know, you're not as good as George Gervin. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there are
Rudy wouldn't be
literally 97% of the players who's ever played are not as good as George Gervin.
Oh,
and
I'd
maybe
say it's higher than that.
Maybe higher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Wow.
99
Yeah,
probably.
Wow.
But yeah. I mean, Rudy knows. Rudy. I mean, he probably.
Rudy probably called in. I don't think that's true,
No,
guys.
please. That's embarrassing me. That's kind of like J.J. Redick saying Oscar Robertson couldn't play in today's game. It's like, well, you did. You did, J.J. I can guarantee you. If you did, Oscar could.
Oscar could hold his own against you, JJ.
Rudy's towards the end of the line here, and some would have us believe that right now Rudy Gay, free agent at 37, I think. There are 5 teams that are interested. 5 teams.
In what, as a player?
Yes,
Okay.
the Bulls, the Pelicans, the Warriors, the Mavs, and the Lakers, according to reports, all have some level of interest in free agent 37-year-old Rudy Gay.
Would he be, Jerry, would he be a guy you bring in as a veteran to mentor? Is he the mentoring kind? Because that's what I would think if you're interested in a 37-year-old small forward, it would be somewhat because of what the presence
But
that
he's
he
a
would
big
bring.
forward now, too, right? He's a
Stretch
stretch.
forward,
Yeah,
in today's game. Yeah, I think he could help somebody, and I see why their team's probably interested. You know, Rudy wouldn't obviously get much of a contract, a veteran minimum. He's a good guy, and he would be. I think he could mentor some guys. He's a real pro.
Yeah,
you know,
well, that's what
pro's
you need,
pro,
right?
and as Whitey and I were talking earlier, I was like, yeah, Rudy would gladly accept a role as 9th, 10th man. Maybe somebody, certain injuries occur. Could be a 5 or 10 minute guy most of the time, and if you needed him in a bigger role due to injuries, he could handle that in short stints, I think. But so yeah, I think it's good. I mean, there's. Like I say, he's no George Gervin. But
You could probably get George for a veteran minimum right now, yeah.
Now, if you were Rudy Gay and you
Okay.
your main goal this year is you want to go somewhere, you want to be on a team, you want to win a ring. And those are your 5 choices. Those 5 teams are
Okay,
called.
run by
Yeah, the Pelicans, the Bulls, the Mavericks, and then the Lakers and the Warriors.
Wow.
If your goal, let's just say all else is for the most part equal, and you just want to go somewhere where you got your best chance to win the ring, which way would you go?
I'm going to California. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. I'm definitely going to
You're
California.
not going to the Bulls?
Yeah, no, the Bulls. No, I would no. Bulls
No,
and
it's a-
Pelicans.
it's-
No,
it's a
Mavericks
Cal-
are
it's a-
Mavericks are kind of interesting, but no, I'm going to stay in the Golden State.
Yeah,
I
I'd stay in
think,
the
yeah.
Golden State, and I probably think his best chance might be with the Lakers.
Yeah.
I was afraid you were going to
That's what
say
I
that.
think.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't say
Yeah,
that.
The Lakers.
Well, it seems they always run out of money, but it seems they have enough for anybody who wants to be on their team.
Yeah, the
so,
cap.
Yeah,
They have a cap for the league, and then there's the Laker cap.
they have a removable cap. You can
Yeah.
just
See.
twist.
Yeah,
It's just a twist
yeah.
off, and you just add more and then
It's
put it back on.
childproof, but
It is.
still, yeah.
Well, in that case, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
I
that.
don't like to admit it, but I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, he'd help the Warriors too. I think he could, but it's all minimal. I mean, it's not anything you worry about if you're Denver. So-
Right. That DeMarcus Gay, Isaiah Thomas team, do you think that team should have won more games?
I do. I think they should have won more. They were at cross purposes a little bit. I mean, I think there was a little jealousy as it was, and
Kind of like our situation
Yeah.
here.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Where you had guys, pulling against you a little bit.
So, are you DeMarcus or is he DeMarcus? Because I know I'm Rudy Gay. So there you go.
Well, I'm Isaiah Thomas. So,
Yeah.
I just thought those were 3 guys. I mean, yeah, they were successful, but they all needed to have the ball, and it was really tough
was
to
tough.
watch the 3 of them. And I know DeMarcus was a pretty decent passer, but it just seemed like once one of them got the ball, that's where the ball was staying.
yeah, they were all kind of, I think, looking for their stats.
Yes.
You know, I mean, they're all kind of ball stoppers.
They all averaged
and-
20 one year, right?
I mean,
And that's
Yeah.
exactly
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
How
mean-
many assists? 1.7 or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, no, but they should have been in, you know, I mean, in a perfect world, maybe you could have got DeMarcus to, you know, curtail some of his stuff, and you know, Isaiah's a good, just top of the line guy. I mean, I think, but he was just probably trying to prove he could stay in the league, you know, still. So
Yeah.
it just didn't work as well as it should have.
Yeah. Speaking of the NBA, another highlight of
I'm
the
glad we are.
of the car show, which I almost forgot, but I thought it was brilliant. I asked Jerry if he'd watched the Open, you know, the British Open, as they just call it, the Open.
The Open. They
Yeah,
call it the Open.
yeah, and he watched like all of it. He
Yeah,
says
I watched it
every
too,
bit of
yeah,
it,
it's
and he
great.
says he liked Brian Harman winning, and he said he compared Brian Harman winning to Mike Conley like making an All-Star team, and I thought that was brilliant
because they're both
left-handed.
left-handed.
Well,
Yeah,
partly.
Yes. Partly left-handed.
Well, no, I mean, they're left-handed, but Mike Conley was an awfully good player for a long time, but never made an All-Star
Right.
team. And then kind of at the end, near the end of his career, he actually made it. Brian Harmon's been a good player for a long time, you know, top
Yeah,
50,
absolutely. He's 36 years old.
yeah,
so
top
he's been
50
around-
guys,
yeah.
had a couple of wins on tour, but certainly no majors. And so, you know, he got a major.
Yeah, I thought it was very insightful.
I like
Very
it, yeah.
insightful. Thank you very much. You know, I wish, you know, Phantom had mentioned as insightful, but he didn't.
No, I want to ask you a question. Since you
Yes,
watched
sir.
the entire golf like I did, and I watched another golf tournament on Sunday too. I think that golfers, when they miss putts, are becoming almost like the whiners in the NBA. I mean, these guys, they miss putts and they're just looking to the sky and they're burying their heads in their hand. And I just think it's getting a little overboard for me.
Well-
I mean, it's almost like the world has just conspired against them if they miss a putt. And they stare at it and they stare at it and then they.
Well, when you see-
it's getting a little too much, is what I'm saying.
Well,
Jim.
I will say, I mean, you know, if you're a golfer and you're playing for millions of dollars and the ball basically lips out or misses by a centimeter, I don't know that it'd be something. Oh, I just missed it.
No, but it's some of those, yeah, but still, some of them they leave.
Oh,
them-
well.
they
Oh,
leave
well.
them- The guy leaves it 2 feet short, and he just buries his head and says, "Oh, how could that happen to me?"
well,
We'll hit it harder, okay?
Yeah, well, that's a good
You've been
point
playing
there.
golf since you're 5. Learn to read a green. You know?
Yeah. And really, it's pretty. I don't think
Pretty
it'd be-
easy, yeah.
Yeah, that course. I don't know why you'd be
Oh,
concerned
come
about
on.
playing in the rain and everything.
It's like playing
Yeah,
checkers
come
out
on.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, so you watched the Truckee Barracuda?
I watched the Reno one. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
did
love
too.
that one. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, the on Saturday the Rogers
Truckee
missed.
Barracuda.
He
Yeah.
missed 3 putts of about 2 feet.
Yeah.
Within 2. I mean, and then lost the tournament.
Yes, and then would probably like, oh god.
But the difference, correct me if I'm wrong, guy misses a free throw or something or gets fouled, he's blaming the official. The golfers, they can't blame anybody else, right?
But they're not
Although
blaming. They're not taking responsibility. They're going, "Oh, why have you forsaken me?" You know, I mean, they
Well,
look their
how-
head
do you
to the
know that
sky.
for a fact? Are
Yes,
they, like,
I'm watching it.
pointing
I
at
have
the
a degree in
heavens and-
psychology. I know exactly what they're thinking, and that's exactly what they're thinking. And I don't think they're blaming themselves. They're blaming fate.
You know who golfers blame, from what I've heard, is they blame their caddies.
Yes.
Whether their
Some
caddies
people do.
have anything to do with it or not. That's part of the caddy's job, is to take that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that
that's
is part of
why
their
they-
job. Jordan
that's
Spieth is my favorite because he usually just makes a lot of movements. When
Well,
he misses a
well,
putt, he'll
he
hit the ball and
and,
go, well,
Well, he and his caddy just
They have a great
jabber
time.
all the time.
they're
Yeah.
jabbers.
They need to focus on playing more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
playing better?
The Truckee Barracuda was really good. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I went there. It used to be in Reno.
Yeah, I
at
went
the
there too.
Montreux. Where
Scotty
and-
McCarron used to kind of
McCarron
be the
was like
unofficial
the-
host.
yeah, and Kevin
I
Sutherland
went-
played in it
yeah,
a couple
yeah, I
times,
went there
yeah.
and walked around. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. But,
Yeah, fantastic.
Why is it called the Truckee Barracuda?
It's the Barracuda Open, and it was played in Truckee.
What does that mean, the Barracuda Open?
That's the sponsor or whatever it is. Is the
Okay.
Barracuda.
Okay, I don't. What do they do?
They make fish. I don't.
I guess that's what I'm getting.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I didn't really go
I
on the
was just
Wikipedia
wondering.
page.
I'm
I just
not
watched it
calling
on
you out. I was just
television. Okay?
curious.
I think you kind of are.
Yeah,
we just watched it on TV. We didn't look into the history. of
Truckee,
the
I know
event.
that's where it is.
Yeah.
The Barracuda Open.
I was just I thought for sure though that I said now would Barracuda be in the Truckee River? I don't think so.
don't
I didn't
think
think
so.
that far, Jared.
I don't
mean,
think so.
I'm not going in anyway. But
Yeah.
I didn't take it that far, but that's a great question.
Yeah. By the way, before we
Barracuda
get
being
to
the Truckee River.
Austin Rivers, as we go from the Truckee
Austin
River to
Rivers.
Austin Rivers, yeah. Did you see that in Florida? They dump cocaine in the ocean. Some of the drug dealers,
Who doesn't?
and the sharks end up ingesting it.
Oh, that's all we need.
Yeah, so you
They're
got
not
Cocaine
bad
Shark.
enough. So a
But
wired
that's not a
shark.
movie. That's like
Well, we
real.
had Cocaine Bear. Now
Yeah,
we got
Cocaine
Shark.
Shark.
So the next
Welcome
thing
to
is going to
Shark
be
Week.
when they fight each other, right? The
Yeah.
cocaine bear and the cocaine shark.
Depends on who has home court advantage. There.
Well, if it's it definitely depends.
Who's got the home
Absolutely,
field.
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that's a real thing. So is this.
Cocaine shark.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're sure, right? It's
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Well, if they had cocaine barracuda, that would tie into our tournament.
there you
Yeah,
go.
absolutely.
Austin Rivers, not Truckee Rivers. Austin Rivers was doing his podcast, as we, I think, are now. I don't
It's
really
really
know.
tough to tell.
Yeah, close call.
Yeah, here's what he says about Dame and the trade demand.
Oh, yes.
He says trade demands, bad for the league. He says it's one thing when you're a free agent, you do whatever you want. That's part of the business. But when you sign a contract and you're not a free agent, staying with your team, that's also part of the business. He says Dame is great. Dame is phenomenal. But he says it's bad for the league when you got guys who sign the contract and then partway through, yeah, I want out.
Oh, I agree more. I mean, I couldn't agree
I've
more.
been saying that for years.
I mean, yeah,
come
it's
on,
like
Austin.
you signed the contract, honor the contract. Now, if team wants to that's part of the business, but
Right.
the old deal of, I'll sign the contract, but
Yeah.
I
I wished I
I
hadn't
don't want to
signed it.
stay
yeah,
now.
that's the Harden rule. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
James Harden rule, and the league really, here again, if Adam Silver decides to either be the commissioner or hire one, you might get on top of
Are
that.
you still interested in that position, by the way?
I'm really not anymore.
Yeah, he was for a
they've been
while.
calling, trying to feel me out, but
They had their chance.
I think he just makes like 14, 15 million a year, so I can't.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
Well, he's got to do a little bit more for that then.
I think he
I think
does.
he does. Yeah. Step in,
and the
maybe.
Players Association. It's like, wait a minute, guys. You're the ones that are demanding the guaranteed contracts and more money and all this. It's all you've asked for it, and you got it. Now, how about honoring it?
It seems to me the only way it would work, a trade demand, and you obviously have dealt with these types of things, is if you got a player, unhappy player, obviously, and you got a GM,
If the shoe
and the
fits.
player's unhappy, and he says, look, I don't want to make a big thing of this, but I'd like, if you could trade me, that'd be great. If a trade demand were something that was not publicized, then it seems like maybe the two sides would have a chance to reach a mutually beneficial outcome. But when you've got the agent deciding, I'm going to let everybody know my guy wants out, or the team says, we're going to show him, we're going to let the fans know that he wants out, then you get nothing accomplished.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I mean, those kind of things did happen in the past, where guys, and not saying that they would let it get out, but it'd be, guys saying, look, and the agent agree, we'd like, if it works, we'd like to go somewhere else. Now, I don't recall ever hearing somebody saying, we want to go there.
Oh, yeah.
That type of stuff. We'll,
Yeah.
Otherwise, you trade us there.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no. I mean, it's like, yeah, we
We
would, and
have-
and
yeah.
you'd say, well, if they're unhappy, maybe playing time, whatever, we'll consider it if we can get it, if we can be made whole.
Sure.
Simple
sure.
as that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have no problem.
We'll scratch your back, you
Yeah.
scratch ours, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, you can tell the agent, if you can keep it quiet, you can find out what the value might be, or team's interested in your client. But
when teams start, or the player or the GM, they start to use that as leverage, then it gets in the way of actually getting something
Sure
accomplished.
does.
But it's different too. With like Dame is not. Well, the way I understand it, he's not unhappy. He just wants to go somewhere he can win a title, right?
Well,
so it's not. It's different. It's different than saying, "Well, I don't like being here. You don't want me to be here. If I don't like being here, get rid of me." It's a situation where, and I think that's starting now. You hear the talk about Embiid doing the same thing at some point, going, "Well, I'm not going to win here. I want to go somewhere I can win."
Well, where would that be?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what I hear from Dame. It says, "I want to go somewhere I can win a
Well-
title." Where there's only 5 teams then you can go to.
Well, and
then they don't
four
want
of
you.
them, and
They
four
don't want
of
you.
them won't win.
Yeah. And,
So
you have to
okay.
pick the one out of the other
Yeah.
29 that's going to win the title, and now they have a couple of different guys doing that. So yeah, if it's just an unhappy kind of thing, I can see that. But if it's going back all the way to the Kevin Garnett thing, where he's got to leave, he's very loyal to the team, but he's got to leave in order to win, and that's what I think that Dame has been lumped into too. So that kind of changes a little bit. It's not the unhappiness. It's just that if he comes out and goes, I want to go somewhere I can win, that's a kind of a different demand than saying I'm unhappy here.
Well, how about I want to win in Miami?
Well, and again,
That's what he said.
And that's what Portland is saying, right? They're saying, well, I mean, you just narrowed our field from 29 to 1, and we can't get any deal, so we can't trade you.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have to have that right, obviously.
These reports obviously are not always true, and sometimes they're dictated by people who have something to gain by
Ulterior
letting
motives,
people
sure.
think this or that. But the story on that is that Dame and Bam Adebayo are really close, and so the whole thing is that Dame wants to play with him. And then when you get a situation like that, I mean, at some point you got to be adults. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'd like to work with him or that person. But I don't get to choose that. So it's just not your choice.
When do they trade Bam to Portland?
Well,
and trade Sharp and
well,
Scoot and
that's
them all
Miami
to
says that
Miami.
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We don't want to trade him. We're not trading Jimmy Butler. So all right, is there a conversation to be had?
How has this gone this long, though? I mean, with the situation,
Well,
the guys that they want, we're not giving you. So there's no way they can come to any kind of agreement then.
No, I don't see any way. I mean, I don't know any reason why Portland would do that.
Yeah. And so,
I mean, because they can't get Jimmy Butler and
Yeah,
they can't get
exactly.
Bam Adebayo. So there's nobody else.
so they're trading an All-NBA player for
guys who are pretty
not-
good.
But correct me if I'm wrong, I think Portland has, if not all the leverage, a lot of it here. They have something that another team wants, and they have a player
Yeah.
who wants to go there, and they're in, it's not like, wow, we got to get this figured out so we can have a good team this year, because they know that we're not going to be very good this year. We're rebuilding with Scoot, so we can take our time. What's the worst case scenario for us is that we still keep Dame Lillard. So
he's pretty
I think,
good.
Yeah. So
I agree with you.
So then, it's incumbent upon Miami to bring. What do you got? How badly
Right.
do you want him?
Right.
If you don't want him badly enough, then we'll figure it out.
Well, but there again, it's like, the idea, I want to go win a ring. Or I want to, okay, and like Embiid. Okay, where are you going to go that can guarantee you that? Well, Miami's a good chance they won't win.
I know.
If
I know.
he went there.
I know.
And a lot of times, the place you're going to go is going to have to give up the people that
Yeah.
would get you the ring to get you to come there.
Yeah, they
like
say,
a Kevin
okay,
Durant situation.
So, I mean.
That actually happened with Kobe. Apparently, Kobe wanted to go to the Bulls.
Yeah.
And they said okay, and it was it Luol Deng or somebody? And they said, all right, we're going to trade you for Luol Deng, and he's like, well, if he's not there, I don't want to go there.
Luol Deng.
Was it? It was. I don't know.
It
You
had to
would
be
know
somebody
better.
better.
I don't doubt your story,
Yeah.
but I mean that's why
Yeah,
you
And-
got to keep
and
Luol Deng, or
I
I'm
think
not
the
coming.
story is, was Mitch Kupchak the GM then? The
Yeah,
story
yeah,
is
I
that
think
he
he
knew
was,
that
yeah.
would happen. It's like, all right, Kobe, here's who we're trading you for. And he knew that Kobe'd go, well, I don't want to go there for that. It's like, okay, well, we tried.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that probably told you everything there is that he really didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, we're trading you for 17 picks and their entire starting five. And he probably said, geez, I don't want to go there now.
yeah.
So the surprising thing, like you say, Portland has all the leverage.
I think so. That's the way
Miami's
I
not
see
going to
it.
give them who they want. So why is it still going on? Why are
Well-
we still Why are they still discussing it? Is there,
well,
let's
they may
get a
not
third
be.
team. Let's
See?
get a fourth, or maybe
Well,
they're not.
Yeah, I was
maybe
going to
that
say, I
agent's
don't
just-
necessarily think they are. I mean, if you're Portland, it's up to you to bring me a deal. He's ours.
Mm-hmm. According to reports from the beat writer for the Oregonian or somebody, they're part of the deal's done, and they've got okay, we'll give you 2 number ones and some players, but Portland's like, okay, well, we want Caleb Martin, and Miami's like, we're not giving him up. Okay, well, that's a stumbling block. And we want a 3rd number 1 pick, and Miami doesn't have it. So supposedly they are making some progress. But again, it's a matter of Portland going, this is what it's going to take. But there's other reports that Miami's going to Portland saying, what do you want? And Portland's not getting back to them. So some people think that they don't even want to trade Dame.
They ghosted him?
Who knows? You get the reporting from, again, different sides. People want to make a different point and want to shape it a different way. I don't know. I go with Jerry, who says it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, to me, there has, not with Miami. I can see them trading. There's places they could trade Dame. There's enough pieces to get
What
back.
about Philadelphia?
Well, sure. Maybe,
Trade him
would
for
you-
Embiid
would
so he
you-
can go to Reno.
Well, no, but I mean, would you trade him for Tyrese Maxey and something? I would.
yes, yes.
You
he
know,
would fit-
Tyrese Maxey
He
and
would
Tobias.
fit in with the new guys that you have. Yeah,
and Tobias Harris, I'd do that. I think all of a sudden Portland's better.
I always liked Tobias.
I'm not
Harris.
sure that Philly's better.
He loves
It's
Tobias
not. It's
Harris.
not a popular stance, but I've always liked.
No,
Tobias
he's an
Harris.
underrated player.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I
I'm
think
with
he
you
could
there.
help you. He's one of the guys like a Jeremy Grant, where you get caught up in how much he costs and you don't see what he can do for a team. And he's not a perfect player, but I think he has a lot of value still.
I think he's better than Grant. I really do. I mean, because he can fit in on a winner. We know that. The other guy we don't
Yeah.
know that about.
The problem with the players demanding trades when they're small market teams is from small market teams. That's the whole idea with the way the CBA is set up, right? So that if you're a small market team, you can pay your guy more money to keep him.
Right.
So that if you're the Kings as Chris Webber or whatever it is, small market team, you can offer your guy more money than other teams to try to discourage them from going to the big market teams. So if you sign your guy like Portland signs Dame, big deal, we're keeping our guy, and then he decides, I want out anyway, then the whole thing goes down the toilet.
Well,
got that huge deal,
your
yeah.
point is exactly right. I always remember all the stuff about Chris Webber. He won't play you, and even though you trade, he'll never play for you. Well, he wanted to get paid.
Sounded like that was erroneous information.
And then
there, yeah.
he'll never re-sign with you. Well, he did. Now, why did he?
Because we offered to mow his lawn.
That was really a key part there.
Thank you, Jerry.
I think it was second in the fact that he could make $25-30 million more.
We're top 3. That's pretty good.
Yeah, as a going somewhere else. I mean, no, that's all these things are supposed to help, and they have helped small market teams and restricted to keep your draft choices if you want to longer and be protected. I mean, you can't lose them. So, this whole thing, it's not good for the league. I mean, it's like even the Harden thing. You know, he picks up his option and then says, I want to be traded. Well, don't pick up your damn option.
Right.
Well,
right.
I'll pick it up in case you don't trade me, then I get all the money.
Well,
So,
yeah. Well,
I got an agent. I ain't no dummy.
Well, he figured out, I think, in his agent that, okay, if we pick up option, that's $36 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
If we don't pick it up, we're a free agent, and we might not get
Right.
Get $36 million guaranteed.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the old Bonzi Wells things. I don't know if some fans remember that.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Remember Jeff offered him, I don't know, 4 years, $34 million or something like that, and he was offended because Peja got $38 million, I think, or whatever, and he said, I'm as good as Peja. Well, he wasn't, but he was good. And so his next 2 years, he worked for $3 million and $2 million.
Did he go to Houston?
Houston, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he made $5 million in 2 years, and I think it was, and he might have made some more after that. But I was never good in math, and I said, now 34 and 5, which is more?
Yeah.
Or like Dennis Schroeder recently,
Yep.
Turned down $70 million to.
Yeah. What I'll never forget about that is, although I forget the exact number, but when he came back to Arco, you may remember this, or you, with everything you had going on, maybe you couldn't hear. Ball goes out of bounds, and Bonzi is going to inbound it, and so it's kind of quiet, and a fan yells, Bonzi, $34 million. It was like, oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, it has to think about it every day.
Yeah,
It's like our latest king, Nerlens Noel. He was basically
that's the saddest
Dallas
one.
offered him
Man.
$70 million or
That's
something
terrible.
like that.
4 years, $70 million.
And you got to blame the agent there a little bit.
He was at a party. Rich Paul's. Oh, we'll get you more than that.
Yeah, we can get you more than that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
And they didn't.
Got him nowhere.
I usually,
near
when
that.
people offer me $70 million, I usually take it.
Yeah.
Even if someone says they can get me more, I'll take the $70. I'll be like James Harden. I'll take the $70 million. Now let's see what you can do.
Well, it's like the soccer player you were talking about today.
Mbappe.
Yeah.
Being offered $700 million to
$772 million a year from the
It's a whole
Saudis.
package thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And Messi reportedly turned down $1 billion from the Saudis, so he could play in Miami.
Yeah, that's a good move.
I think Messi's okay financially.
Well,
probably.
they all
He's probably
are.
okay. Yeah.
$776 million for one season.
So if you don't score a goal every 5 minutes, you're literally,
And according to
you're a failure.
reports, Mbappe says, I have no interest in that deal.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
Mbappe's doing pretty
Good
well
for him.
himself.
Yeah, yeah.
Messi, yeah, those soccer
whole
guys like
Saudi
to say,
angle,
they're doing
whatever.
okay. Yeah, they're doing okay.
You guys heard, right? The Saudis are going to buy a franchise in the NBA and move it to the Pacific Northwest, and they're going to be the Seattle Super Saudis. Have you heard that?
I heard Saudi Sonics, but I think you're right. Yeah. That's
Well,
what I heard, yeah.
they may buy the whole sports.
They could start their own for that much because they're going to
if
pay
you're
one
throwing
guy.
around $700 million for one guy.
They got to know he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
And
You
they're
know,
gonna,
You better be hoping he doesn't then.
Well, just keep in mind, a lot of the money that they're paying, it really comes from the United States, buying their oil and
I don't want to think about
Oh,
that.
you're getting all geopolitical. I mean,
Well, ain't got no
Come on.
geopolitical.
Let's go back to the Truckee
I think
Barracuda.
he's-
Come on.
I think he's right. I mean,
Well, I'm
it
not
has to
saying
come
he's
from
not,
somewhere.
but he's just
And
blowing
that's
my
the thing.
mind,
You say,
man.
oh, they better be sure he doesn't want it. They don't care. $772 million gone. Okay.
Well, they
Here,
did-
we have $772
They bought a
million
golf
more
tour, and
over
that's
here.
not doing anything, so it doesn't make any difference there. They
Yeah.
don't care about that either.
The thing about Embiid, to me, my reaction to Embiid saying, I want to win, whether that's Philly or somewhere else, is he asking for a trade, or in a way, is this like a LeBron way of doing things where, like, it's not my fault. I want to win, whether it's here or somewhere else. And that's almost like saying, it's not my fault we haven't won here, which is
But he's in the level of guys in the league that it is their fault. To me,
I agree,
He's in
but
that
clearly
level.
he wants to make sure you know that.
Sure.
He's looking for. I mean, he's trying to create a escape out
Yes.
excuse.
He's
I think
separating
so.
himself for the
I
rest of
want
his
to
team.
win. It's like, well, can you explain all the different guys who don't want to?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Not our
think,
guy Maxey, not our guy Tobias Harris.
Yeah,
they win. They,
they
want
wanna
to win.
win.
Yeah, they want to win.
I mean, I've never heard. Seriously, I've seen some, poor players and some kind of lazy, but I've never seen one say, "Boy, I'd rather lose tonight."
Some of them have- some
that's
of them
really
have
fun. That
played
losing,
like-
that's
yeah.
fun, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of them didn't defend the back door. Think maybe they did want to lose.
well, there's times when their minds weren't in it completely.
weren't completely focused
Well,
on
that's,
the game.
as
at
we've
hand.
said, that's the difference between I'd rather win and I need to win,
Yeah,
right?
you're exactly-
Everybody would rather. I'd
Yeah.
prefer to win. Okay, how badly do you want it? You're going to have to do this and this and this. Well, I don't know. Whereas
Well,
some
he's
people
the
just-
guy. That's the thing with Embiid. He said, "I want to win." Well, you're Embiid. You win.
I
You're the
know.
guy who determines whether you win or not. Really.
Yeah,
When
can
get
you
down to
imagine
it.
Akeem Olajuwon saying that, or
Can't.
No, I cannot.
or Bill Russell or
Patrick Ewing,
Patrick
who never
Ewing.
did
Well,
win.
No,
never
but
did,
he
but-
wanted to.
But he sure
really
wanted to. Well, he gave it all he had.
did
You
give it
could
all he
never,
had.
To me, you can never question his effort. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you can question Embiid to some degree.
Yeah, he saw Patrick Ewing in the locker room.
I don't want
once.
to. Can we just move on?
Yes.
Can we just? Yeah. I mean, he was all locker room. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
league. He was all league.
And clear. Yeah. What if you're Nick Nurse? You're the coach of the Sixers now. How do you even start to approach this
Wow.
season, given all the question marks and what's going on with Harden? At some point, you want to have some resolution, right?
Well, you would like it before camp, yeah. Now, and I don't think. But if I'm Nick Nurse, I'm not spending 5 minutes worrying about it today. It's just not nothing. A week before camp, I might start worrying about it, and I think it'll probably be resolved one way or another. It may be Morey saying, even though I've kissed your butt, James, for the last 10 years, I can't kiss it anymore. You're either playing,
Yeah.
or retire.
If he ends up going to the Clippers, which we think he wants, from Sacramento standpoint, is that like, oh no, look out
I
for
think
that?
that's a car wreck. I want to watch that. I want to see those guys in action because they got I guess they have a big three, which maybe two of them will be playing sometimes. Yeah, I want to watch. I don't think that works out
Well,
too
there
well
could
at
be.
all.
It could be like the Brooklyn thing. I mean, the big three or big 3.5 counting Westbrook or whatever.
Yeah.
You may not have any of them on the floor except Westbrook most of the time.
Yeah, he's out there. That's
Yeah,
true.
because
Like
he's
you said,
going to. I mean, with
he's going to
Russ,
play. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to play and he's going to play hard. He may not always play effectively, but he's going to give you what he's got. And the rest, it's like, really, can you count on any of those other three for 65 games a year?
If you're the Clippers, do you even want Harden?
I'm not sure you do.
Isn't that interesting? In the
Paul,
past,
if
it was like,
Paul
well,
or Kawhi comes to you and says we want Harden, then you probably, I guess you do.
you got to pretend you want to,
Well,
but do
yeah.
you really want him?
Then you do that. Okay, Harden, sure, we
You
want
think
you.
Jerry? I mean, does Jerry West sit there and go, "Oh boy, that's all we need right now is James Harden"?
Oh, boy, I tell you.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. It's like if you just think of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Okay, they're really good with the ball. And they're going to have it a lot less. Now, I can bitch about them not playing, but when they play, they're Kawhi's
they're
great,
exceptional. Yeah.
and Paul's near great, but they're really effective with the basketball for themselves and others. And if James Harden there, they're going to be less effective because he's going to dominate the ball as much as them, at least. Or
Plus,
try
he
to.
doesn't. In my opinion, he doesn't really help you at the other end that much.
Have you noticed that?
I'm not.
I don't think
haven't
he even
coached.
goes down anymore. Does
Yeah.
it just stay on one side?
No, it's
It
kind of
doesn't
like
make any
Yeah,
difference.
it doesn't matter.
No, he's kind of like the way they used to play Iowa women's basketball.
Yes. I love that.
I would have loved Yeah, I was.
I would have been a great player.
Yeah,
in those days.
you got to play. If you're good offensively, you just played on one end of the floor.
got
Yeah,
two
you
separate-
can't cross half court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to play like that, and I got in trouble for it. I
Yep.
would not cross that. Hey,
Yeah,
come
no.
on, get down there.
Yeah, I did a little of that too, but
Yeah.
but yeah, they. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm them. I mean, their problem obviously they don't need Harden, they need health.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
We're over our time here as always, but I want to ask you guys this: which story you personally are you more sick of right now? The Dame Miami trade thing, or the Poole Draymond Green the punch? What really happened? What really led to the punch?
Well, I've been talking about the punch since the punch happened and how the effect that it had on the team, and it went out through all the season.
Draymond won't stop talking
he
about
won't
it.
talking about it. And here's my only thing now. Draymond Green is a great leader of men. He's a great leader of the team. Then why did he punch one of his teammates? I'm sorry, that's not how you lead. That's it. That's it for me. I mean, I've been on that the whole season long. I thought it was a problem for him. It's turned out it's a problem. Obviously, they threw their lot in with Draymond, and they have probably all season long. But if you're such a great leader and you have to resort to punching one of your teammates, I think maybe you need to work on your leadership skills.
Yeah, even if he maybe needed punched, you don't punch him.
No, exactly. I know what you're saying, Jared. And
Yeah,
sometimes it seems
no.
like somebody,
Yeah,
you
But
need punching.
but you don't do it.
Yeah, or if you take them off to the side and give them a little bit what for,
But my thinking though is it's like the old and Draymond's still talking. Oh, that's really surprising. Wow, Draymond's still talking.
Yeah.
You could have just knocked me over with a feather with that one.
It's like he wants so bad. This is what he said, but he won't say that. He can't say that for whatever reason. So he does everything short of. Here's what he said to me. He's like, "Well, I don't want to say, but I don't just punch people for no reason." And
So why can't he put it in the rearview mirror then? Is it just he doesn't do that, or wouldn't it benefit everybody if he just dropped it and then the guys on the
wouldn't
other
that be
side of
great?
the country? Yeah, wouldn't
And
that
I'm
be
sorry
fantastic?
I brought it up. I didn't mean to rehash it. I'm just
Well,
wondering
I
which
mean,
of those.
it's-
That's on me.
it's a-
but
you know,
it's
it's
like yeah. Even Jordan Poole says, "Dude, get a hobby."
I know, but you're supposed to be the team leader. Just let it
Yeah.
go. Move on. You have new
I know.
teammates now. You have new guys.
You have Chris Paul who
Take care of
says he feels sorry for anybody who has to play against him and Draymond now because of the way those two talk. He says, "I feel sorry for the other team now."
You're not debating. I mean, you're playing against two old guys on the court.
They're going to talk you, man.
They're going to talk at you while you're going by them and laying it up.
Actually, they'll be talking to one another. Yeah,
That might be the
that might be.
Chris Paul should wear a mask. I mean, the first day of practice might get punched. Yeah,
We'll end it here. Who was the when you were coaching the biggest trash talker? Was Peyton maybe one that would really get under the skin of players?
Well,
Does anybody come to mind?
he was terrific that way. I mean,
he supposedly was like nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, he was on his own teammates and coach and everybody else.
Your buddy was the best, wasn't he?
He was among them. I mean, yeah, he just kind of cut a guy's heart out quietly. It didn't make where Gary make a little more fuss of it. Like some of the guys today that talk stuff. But I think that's always the worst if a guy's just saying, I'm going to score on you.
Yeah, the guy that tells you what he's
Then
going
he
to do and
does.
then he does it. That's the worst. Yeah.
Is that what happened with Larry and Doc? Did he ever tell you that story? What happened where?
Well, the only thing he ever said to me about it was that that's one of the things that he was so ashamed of.
Really?
Yep. He said Dr. J was a great guy, great player, and he was, and his career was winding down. He said, I was wrong. I had no business doing that. Said, said there's a lot of guys, if it's Bill Lambier, that's okay. But no, he did. So that really has bothered him. That, that Dr. J was just a great guy. And
so the story goes that he was keeping a running dialogue of the point
totals.
totals.
He was.
Yeah, Larry was.
35 for me, 4 for you, type stuff.
I don't know how that get under somebody's skin.
Well, yeah, it would. And, I mean, it was.
And then Doc tried to choke him, right? I think he went out.
Well, they both did some choking. They were,
okay.
There was, which you can see why it might happen. One start the choking, the other respond to the choking. And
that's just human
the
nature.
choker and the chokee.
You got to do that, yeah. You don't want to be choked on, you got to be choking. Yeah.
But, let's put it this way. Neither one of them spent the next year talking about it.
That's exactly right. Thank you.
Well done, Jerry.
Yeah. We'll see you next time, won't we?
On the old-fashioned 3.
We're hoping so, yeah.
Thank you for joining the Old Fashioned 3 on Stones Radio Networks. To stay updated on the show, like and subscribe on YouTube, and all shows are available for download on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and of course at stonesradionetworks.com. Follow the show and the gents on Twitter at OL, Fashioned, and the number 3, at Phantom Radio 60, and at Whitey Gleason. This has been a production of Stones Radio Networks.